Hello, spooky friends, and today I am going to talk about one of my favorite movies of all time, The Rocky Horror Picture Show. I am a big fan of that film. It's one of those movies I could watch year round, but it becomes even more exciting this time of year. You have all of the factors with this movie, all of them, except really there's no horror in it. I mean, at least in my opinion, it is not scary whatsoever. In fact, it's more of to me, a comedy than anything else. And definitely more of a sci-fi feature, I would say. But you have a mix of everything thrown into this movie. I highly recommend it. 5 stars all day long on the Rocky Horror Picture Show. It came out in 1975, which is before I was born. Not long before I was born, but before I was born. And you have, of course, Dr. Frankenfurter, who is played by Tim Curry. And I love Tim Curry. I've seen, I think, all of Tim Curry's films, and I have loved every single character, but Frankenfurter is hands down my all-time favorite character that Tim has ever played. You have Magenta, Riff Raff, Columbia, Janet, Dr. Scott, Brad, of course Rocky, and Eddie. Those are basically your main characters in the movie. And although I love every single character in the film, I would have to say that Frankenfurter is my favorite character of all of them. It's so mind twisting throughout I don't want to say throughout the entire film. I would say things start to take a twist during the dinner scene. And for those of you that have seen the movie, you know what I'm talking about. When they begin to talk about Eddie, that is, to me, when things start to take a completely different twist than what you're expecting. And it seems like from that point on, then the movie turns into a sci-fi feature after that. There is such amazing songs in that movie. I love every single song in that film. My favorite is probably There's a Light in the beginning. I know it's weird, but to me, that's like, I don't know, I love that song. And of course, who can forget the Time Warp? The Time Warp is one that will stick in your head for days and days and days. But it's okay, because it's a great catchy song, so it's alright that it's stuck in there. Also, this is one of those movies that you have to watch it like a couple of times to catch the little nuggets of things that they throw in there. For example, there's some stuff on the set that, and when you first watch it, you don't realize what the shape of it is, and then when you watch it like the second or third time, you're like, oh my gosh, is that really shaped like something I'm not gonna say. And one of those parts is the lever that Frankenfurter pulls to emit the electromagnetic beam to stop Dr. Scott's wheelchair towards the end of the movie. And those of you that have seen the movie, I think you know what I'm talking about. But now, if you haven't figured out what that lever is shaped like, go back in the movie and watch it again, especially that part, and then you'll see what I'm talking about. And it took me a couple of times of watching the movie before I realized what that was supposed to be. And I'm just like, oh my gosh. Yeah, I kind of blushed. So anyway, so you have Janet and Brad, and at the beginning, and they are at a wedding for one of their good friends. And they're driving through the woods, of course, leaving the wedding party. It's dark, it's storming. They get a flat. they see a mansion up ahead and they decide they want to go to the mansion to get some help. Once they enter the mansion, that's when all the fun and games begin. And that is where they meet Frankenfurter, Columbia, Magenta, Rocky. And then Eddie shows up. And Eddie is played by Meatloaf. And I love Meatloaf's character in the movie. I can't imagine any other character playing the role of Eddie now that I have seen Meatloaf play Eddie. It's just, I can't think of anybody else who would fit that role so perfectly like he does. Then you meet Eddie, and then, well, before then, you meet Dr. Scott, who is a professor at the college that Janet and Brad go to, and he's investigating the mansion because he thinks it's possible that it's a UFO. And Eddie is his nephew, so he's looking for Eddie, and Eddie left a note that kind of led Dr. Scott to that mansion. So anyway, so you meet Eddie and you meet Dr. Scott, and they have a dinner, and then suddenly after the dinner, I feel the movie takes a turn. And that is when all of the sci-fi elements start to come into play. At least in my opinion, that is when things twist a little bit. And then you start to get the sci-fi feature of the movie all the way up until the very end of the movie. It is action-packed from start to finish. There are no slow moments. It is filled to the brim with music, like I have said before. Wonderful music. The special effects are really good. They're a bit cheesy, but that's kind of what they were going for in that movie, because it's supposed to be like an old RKO film. And if you're not familiar with RKO films, you might want to do some research on it, because those films were the old black and whites, and those are the most of the cheesy like B film horror that came from RKO. That's what they were known for. Before television, however, they were on the radio, and that brings me back to the video I did about the old-time radio shows. RKO actually started out doing radio shows and then evolved into television. But anyway, so if you're interested in knowing more about RKO, definitely look them up. It is worth looking into. But that's kind of the feel that they wanted to go for with this movie. So I think that they made some of these special effects cheesy on purpose. But then you also have the fact it did take place in 1975, so, you know. Anyway, so Rocky Horror Picture Show has become a cult classic across the world. And everywhere, just about, they have special screenings. And you can go to these special screenings, and they put on the show as a play, but then it's also live action in the audience. So, for example, when they say a toast, everyone throws toast at the screen. During the wedding scene, when the bride and groom come outside and everyone's waiting for them, you throw rice. Same with the when I don't want to give too much of it away, because for people that haven't seen it, so I'm just gonna stop there. But there's another scene where you throw rice too, but I don't want to give it away. So, and then there's just other stuff like that too. It's audience anticipation. And you can dress up as the characters. People go all out at some of these gatherings. Now, I'm not sure that they're doing it this year, because I really haven't heard anything about productions going on this year and people being able to come and be a part of it because of the pandemic. So I'm not really sure if those plays are still going to be going on this year. I haven't heard a word. And usually around this time of year, I start to hear about places doing it or see it on TV about places doing it, but it's been really quiet about that this year. So my guess is that they may not be doing it still because of the pandemic. But anyway, if you ever have the chance to be a part of that, definitely look into it. It's super fun. And even if you don't, want to participate in all the cheesy stuff, just to see it being performed on stage even is phenomenal. And of course, it's not going to be exactly like the movie, but it's pretty darn close to it. So definitely give that a try. I would give this movie definitely rated R. I saw it when I was about 16, and I feel like if I had been any younger and seen this movie, I probably wouldn't have liked it as much, to be quite honest. So, and just because of some of the scenes and things like that. But definitely give this movie a watch. Like I said, I and my husband too, we are just really big fans of the Rocky Horror Picture Show. I absolutely love it. It is an awesome movie. I feel like it's one of those movies where when you watch it once, you just want to keep watching it over and over and over again, because for us, that's how it is. Like, it's just like a staple in my house. Like, it's nothing to, you know, for my husband to come home from work and I'm just sitting there watching it. And then he just sits down, no matter how far it is in the movie, and just starts watching it with me. I mean, it is that good. I would say this is definitely a cozy movie for me, because I've seen it so many times and everything, and I kind of know exactly what's going to happen at what part and everything. So for me, yeah, it's a cozy movie, but you know, if you're a new person watching the movie, like I said, watch it a couple of times to really pick up on the little things that you don't see the first time you watch it. Definitely, because it's one of those films. It just has hidden gems like all over the place. So definitely give it a watch. And that's going to do it for today's video on the Rocky Horror Picture Show. And I hope you watch it, and I hope you love it just as much as I do. So thank you for watching, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and leave a comment down in the comment section below if you have ever seen Rocky Horror Picture Show, and who your favorite character is, or what your favorite line is, because everybody would like to know. So let us know down in the comment section below, and don't forget to subscribe and hit that bell if you want to be notified whenever I push out a brand new video. Thank you for watching once again, and remember, stay spooky, my friends.